this one's going to hurt evening campers. It's me, Kieran, and today we are going to discuss The Enchantress of Florence by the boy, the writing king, Salman Rushdie, published in 2008. This took years and years of research. Rushdie has said this is his most researched book ever, and it ends with a bibliography that's 8 pages long, giving the sources of this book. And oh my gosh, is it boring! Rushdie, why did you do this to me? Salman Rushdie is a fantastic writer in magical realism. Look at the Satanic Verses, look at Midnight Children that won the Booker Prize and is the Booker of Bookers. It's fantastic. It's what he's known for. Though there are elements of magical realism within The Enchantress of Florence, it is so based in history that how do I say it? What Rushdie is good at is kind of lost. Rushdie he's not able to like twist things. He's not able to interpret them. He's not able to parody them. He's not able to bring pastiche to them. He's so drawn by the facts of this book that it just loses what Rushdie is brilliant at. The theme that crops up in all of his works are interconnectivity between nations, between cultures, the tension, like where these knuckles are grinding, like that's the meat that Salman Rushdie wants to get into. And here we have a European traveller moving into the Ottoman Empire and forth into the Middle East. And this European traveller, the Mogo Della More, the Emperor of Love, claims to be an heir to the throne from a long-lost princess. Oh! It's based in the 16th century or the 1500s, wherever's easiest for you. And you have the Italian Renaissance upcoming, set against the empire, which is holding on to its traditions and cultures, and then the Middle East, who's encroaching on this, and how as we're traveling through each of the lands, how each one conflicts within itself. There's definitely talk about corruption and how to get your own way. It's very Machiavellian, and Machiavelli does crop up towards the end of this book. It's not great. I think another rub for me is that anything that feels like a magical realism element is based in truth. So when the Emperor does have gardeners who are assassins, you think it's going to go somewhere, and it's just Rushdie saying, hey, that's interesting. You're like, yeah, this interesting. Oh, that's it. That's it. Oh, another brothel. Interesting. There are a lot of brothels, and I imagine during a time, a lot of rich people spend many times in brothels. I'm aware that one of the glaring criticism of Rushdie is how he portrays women. And if you don't like Rushdie's women, maybe avoid this, because they are mostly in the brothels pleasuring men. That is their purpose. But you have to consider the time this is set in, the culture it's set in, and Rushdie is trying to stick to the history more than a story or any real characterization. He's purely after the history here. All the characters, for some extent, do things because the history, I'm assuming, dictates that it has to go that way. Rushdie is, like, he's not interested in being clever. He's not interested in, like, subverting. All the things that I like about Rushdie is just not. It's just not in this at all. And I wasted time on that. Even your favourite author, you're going to have bad books. I'm pretty open to saying that this is awful. Don't read it. Like, it's a 1 out of 10. This was like a waste of a tenner. Sorry, Rushdie, mate. I'm your biggest fan, but